Good evening. On behalf of the Commissioners and staff, I would like to welcome you to the October 26, 2023 City of Roseville Planning Commission meeting. Please put all electronic devices on silent at this time. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table. If you plan to speak at tonight's meeting, please complete a blue speaker card and return it to the staff table. As a reminder, Planning Commission meetings are broadcast live and replayed throughout the week on Consolidated Communications and Comcast. I will now call the meeting to order. Lupe, may I please have a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Brashears.
Here.
Commissioner Hagen-Jost is absent, excused. Commissioner Jensen.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Randolph is absent. Vice Chair Pryor.
Here.
Chair Covington is absent, excused.
Commissioner Jensen will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lupe, may we please begin staff introductions?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Lupe Nelson, Recording Secretary.
Good evening, Commissioners. Joe Speaker, Assistant City Attorney.
Good evening, Chair Pryor and Commissioners. Greg Bitter, Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chair Pryor and Commissioners. Derek Ogden, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Commissioners. Shelby Maples, Associate Planner.
The public comment period is a time for anyone who would like to address the Commission on any item not on tonight's agenda. When addressing the Commission, please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the Commission on any item not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I will close the public comment period. The consent calendar consists of routine items that may be approved under one motion as recommended in staff reports. However, each item may be considered separately upon a request by the audience, Planning Commission, or staff. Tonight's consent calendar consists of one item. Item 5.1, minutes from the October 12, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Is there anyone on the Commission or in the audience who would like to pull this item off the consent calendar for separate discussion? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Martin has made the motion and Commissioner Jensen has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jensen.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin.
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears.
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. Next, we have requests and presentations. Before we begin, I want to review the meeting procedures. First, we will hear the staff presentation. Then I will take questions from the Commission. Then I will open the public hearing. The applicant will make a presentation. Then I will open the public comment, and the public will have an opportunity to speak. Then I will close the public comment. If needed, the applicant will be given an opportunity to provide a rebuttal. Then I will close the public hearing. The Commission may ask questions of staff. Finally, the Commission will consider this item and make a decision based on the information provided in the report from staff and the testimony presented during tonight's hearing. Item 6.1 is a request for a design review permit modification and an administrative permit for a parking reduction for 1241 Pleasant Grove Boulevard. For the record, file number PL230065. Shelby, may we have your presentation, please?
Yes, you may. Good evening, Chair Martin and Commissioners. I have a presentation for you on the Starbucks remodel at 1241 Pleasant Grove Boulevard. The project is located within the Arbor View Shopping Center, which is in the Northwest Roseville Specific Plan area and was originally approved in 2003. The Starbucks kiosk was approved in 2007 and again in 2013 by Design Committee, originally at 401 square feet and later increased to 530 square feet. This Starbucks is a drive-through only, so there's no walk-up option for customers, and it's existing with the existing drive-through. The proposed project is a design review permit modification to increase the building area from 530 square feet to 999 square feet, as well as remodel the facade. The improvements are limited to the existing area around the pad, and there's no modification to the drive-through or the parking area proposed, and the building will also update the facade. The parking reduction requested with the project is due to the unique use. The parking reduction would reduce the number of spaces required from 10 to 4. Now, the zoning ordinance requires that for a parking reduction for a restaurant, the appropriate authority is the Planning Commission. This is the site plan for the proposed project. The dark area shows the area of expansion. The west side will be flush with the existing kiosk, whereas the east will expand outward approximately 15 feet. And the height of the expanded area is 10 feet tall, which is consistent with the existing kiosk. The purpose of the expansion is to allow more area for staff to work, and will also include a new restroom, break area, office, and storage. The drive-through lane and parking will not change, and the site already has the required 180 feet of stacking, and there's new landscaping to accompany the revised design. Here are the elevations for the proposed expansion. This will modernize the elevation while maintaining the connection to the Arborview Center. The design includes metal trim around the roof line, and the brick that's already on the kiosk will continue to the top of the tower. The parking reduction was supported by a justification letter provided by the applicant. The goal of the project is to increase the efficiency by improving the prep and staff facilities internal to the kiosk. And as mentioned, there is no walk-up option for customers, and the facility is drive-through only. There have not been any concerns with the existing operation that have been shared with staff or with regarding parking. So the determination to limit to 4 spaces for the employees at maximum shift was appropriate. The goal is to improve efficiency and move customers more quickly through the queue. Notice of the Planning Commission hearing was published in the Roseville Press Tribune, distributed to property owners within 300 feet, and posted on the Arcona website. One comment letter was received on October 20th from a store owner in Arborview. This was shared with the Planning Commission, is also available on the website, the email. The concerns included in the letter talked about the reduction of parking when Starbucks doesn't utilize the parking, and also concerns about visual obstruction. Staff responded to the email clarifying that no parking is being removed as part of the project, and that there was really no increase in visual obstruction due to the existing mature landscaping, the small size of the expansion, and ultimately the project will improve circulation by allowing staff to work faster. And there was no response from the email. In conclusion, the project is consistent with the goals, policies, and standards of the zoning ordinance, general plan, and community design guidelines. The site is appropriately designed and will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, and the findings can be made. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission take the actions listed here on your slide. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shelby. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff at this time?
No. I've got just some comments.
Yes.
So I've driven by there several times, and I'm not a coffee drinker, but people in my family are, so I have gone through the drive-thru quite a bit. That expansion on the, looking at the plan, the right side, which would be the east side of the building, the concern about blocking view, that's right where the edge of Starbucks is, and I just checked on Google Earth, is right about where the existing building is behind. So the addition of it, unless you're at a skew angle, really wouldn't obstruct anything. The other addition isn't blocking anything else. And I think when I don't go there a lot, but I think every time I've been there, I think there's been like 3 staff, so maybe 1 extra staff is a possibility at high times. So there might be 1 extra car parking in a parking lot based upon employees. There's no walk-up windows, so you're not going to have any people coming in. So I understand the concern the a store owner had, but I think this is it is doubling the square footage, but I think it's being done in a way that's not going to hinder that shopping center. So those are the comments I had.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions?
Just a point of clarification that I was hoping I could ask. I think the letter that was received specifically states a concern with a reduction in parking spaces. This is not what's actually up, right? What we're doing is
That's correct.
size of the building would typically dictate a certain number of parking spaces.
It's really a paper reduction because the square footage of the building dictates the number of parking that needs to be allocated.
Right.
So really, Starbucks uses the parking for the employees, but functionally, no more than that.
We're not actually eliminating.
We're not eliminating any
those
parking spaces. It's all on the existing pad in the middle of the drive-through.
Sure, okay.
All right, thank you very much. I will now open the public hearing. I would like to invite the project representative for this item to address the commission.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me back again. My name's Noelia Santiago. I'm with Valerio Architects and representing Starbucks Coffee. This is a great location. It's about 500 square feet, and what Starbucks is looking to do by the addition is really to maximize the efficiency of the location and to improve the Starbucks partner experience, because it'll just enhance the space for them to be able to work, and that's really what it all comes down to, just being efficient. And so any other questions for me?
Commissioners, are there any questions for the project representative at this time?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't addressed in this item. It's more of I guess it is a question. I know that we're having on the next item, hour change. Are we looking at any hour differentials, or do we know the hours right now?
No, we're not looking to change any
Okay.
of the hours of operation at this location.
At least not currently,
No.
right? Yeah. Okay.
And this location is a principally permitted use, so there's not a conditional use permit over it, so we
Okay.
don't actually have the
have
ability
it.
to restrict the hours of operation.
All right.
All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and address the commission on this item? Seeing none, I will now close the public comment period. Any additional questions or comments for the applicant from the commission? All right, I will now close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and recommend that we adopt the two findings of fact and approve the design review permit modification subject to 4 conditions of approval, and adopt the two findings of fact and approve the administrative permit for a parking reduction subject to the 3 conditions of approval.
I'll second.
Commissioner Jensen has made the motion and Commissioner Brashears has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. There is a 10-day appeal period for this item. Next, we have item 6.2. It's a request for a conditional use permit modification for 111 South Harding Boulevard. For the record, file number PL23-0297. Scarlett, may we have your presentation, please?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The second item before you this evening is a second Starbucks, but a conditional use permit modification application. So the project site is located within the Douglas Harding Corridor Specific Plan. The site is bordered by South Harding Boulevard to the north, existing commercial parcels to the east and west, and residentially zoned parcels to the south. The site is approximately 1.5 acres in size and has a land use designation of community commercial and a zoning designation of general commercial with a special area overlay. So as you may remember, you did review this project earlier this year. The commission approved a conditional use permit and a design review permit modification to allow a portion of the existing Burger King to be demolished, as well as reconfigure the existing drive-through lane. So at the time of that application, the applicant wasn't thinking of the hours of operation, had agreed to the standard hours of operation consistent with the noise ordinance. However, after much contemplation, the applicant is now requesting to amend their original hours of operation, and as such are requesting a CUP modification. So as previously mentioned, the original CUP included a condition of approval limiting the hours of operation consistent with the noise ordinance. At the time, staff was in support in keeping the project hours consistent with other restaurants in the vicinity, as well as consistent with our city noise regulation without having a noise study. But since the applicant has shown interest in serving more customers traveling Interstate 80 as well as other high-volume roadways like Douglas Boulevard, the applicant is requesting to amend the CUP. And so as part of that review process, we did request a noise study, which was included in your staff report as attachment 1. In short, the noise study found that the project is expected to increase noise levels by 0.5 decibel, which is unnoticeable to the human ear and within the city's acceptable general plan noise standards. The study found that most of the noise generated by the project will occur from the menu speaker board, which is set back approximately 250 feet from the closest single-family dwelling unit, as well as the noise generated by the existing surrounding roadways like Interstate 80 and Douglas Boulevard. Further, this study took into account the existing sound wall along the southern property line, which will help reduce any noise from the proposed use as well as the existing roadways in the vicinity. So the small increase in noise that is expected from the drive-through menu is considered insignificant and it would actually have no impact on the residents. And so therefore, no mitigation measures were required for the project. Early notification of the project was posted on the Roseville Coalition of Neighborhoods Association's website, as well as tonight's public hearing notice was published in the Roseville Press Tribune, mailed to property owners within 300 feet of the project site, and once again posted on the Arcona website. So similar to the original conditional use permit, we didn't receive any comments from any of the neighbors or residents nearby in respect to the hours of operation proposed to you this evening. And pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is exempt. The project is a minor modification to the hours of operation, and no changes to the land use or density are proposed, and therefore the project is exempt from CEQA. So in conclusion, staff finds that the project is consistent with the zoning ordinance, the general plan, and the Douglas Harding Corridor specific plan. The site is properly designed and will not be detrimental to the public health and safety or the public welfare, and the required findings of fact can be made. So based on the information presented to you this evening, as well as in the staff report, staff recommends that the Planning Commission take the action as listed on the slide. This concludes my presentation, but I am available to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Scarlett. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff at this time? All right, I will now open the public hearing. I would like to invite the project representative for this item to address the commission.
Hi again. Thank you for having me. Noelia Santiago with Valerio Architects and Starbucks, representing Starbucks, and we agree to the conditions of approval set forth by planning. Are there any questions for me on the hours?
Commissioners, are there any questions for the project representative at this time?
No.
No? All right, thank you very much.
Thank
You may
you.
be seated. I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and address the commission on this item? Seeing none, I will now close the public comment period. Are there any additional questions or comments for the applicant from the commission? All right, seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Yeah, sure. I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the conditional use permit modification subject to 4 conditions of approval.
Second.
Commissioner Brashears has made the motion and Commissioner Jensen has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. There is a 10-day appeal period for this item. Next tonight, we have Commissioner staff report. Are there any reports from staff?
I'd just like to report out that we will be having meetings on November 9th and December 14th. And that's all I have for tonight.
All right, short and sweet. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the commission? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
A second.
All right, Commissioner Brashears has made a motion and Commissioner Martin has seconded the motion. All those in favor?
Right.
We are adjourned. Thank you.